Yeah, hi there. So I've started doing the rust proofing and so on underneath and on the chassis rails, and I just thought I'd touch bases on what I'm using and how I go about it. So normally I use a gun like this for applying my underseal, and I usually prep the rails by all the chassis rails by just giving them a good brush down and a clean, get all the oil and bits and loose stuff off that you can as much as possible. Any bare metal I would normally stick some sort of etch primer on. And then the first coat, I think it sort of says just to apply it straight on at about 50 pounds per square inch, or 30 to 50 pounds per square inch of air pressure from memory. What does it say? Yeah, 30 to 50 psi. Yeah, kind of my way of doing things is to do a first primer coat sort of thing, which is 50-50. Half this and half some old dirty thinners. I always keep my thinners from cleaning brushes and this and that, and I just make up a sort of a thin one, and I spray it at normal pressure. I don't because I like to be able to sort of get it in all the cracks and crannies and holes and this and that. And the first coat needs to be thin to sort of really adhere to whatever's on the chassis rail. And then the second coat I would use unthinned for the rust shield. And I'd only be hitting all the chassis rails and all the steel parts underneath. So I'll do this first and then follow through with the body deadener, which is a thicker product, and that's pretty much how I would go about it. So I'll just give you a little look underneath and show you where I've got to. Okay, so as you can see, I've done one coat of the thin rust shield on all of the steel areas. I've got right up in the edges with the gun, just to get it right in there. Yeah, just gone around and done all that chassis. There's bits of old tactile still on the chassis, and that's the reason why I like to thin it down for the first coat, just to get it to eat into that and get in all these little cracks and holes and this and that, and it just makes sense to me anyway to do it that way. So I've pretty much done one coat of the thin rust shield on all the steel, and I'll come back and do a thick coat, and then that'll be it, ready for body deadening the entire piece. I'm just going to do this one section so I can get the LPG tank back in, and the rear bit I'm thinking about leaving until I figure out what I'm going to do with the chassis rail. I wanted to extend it back just so I can get a better jacking point. It's very difficult to jack this vehicle up if you ever get a flat tire or need to do something on it. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll progress forward as I go, in section by section. But yeah, the main thing is getting the leaf springs back in, the rear end back in, and all that sort of stuff. Make sure that the disc brakes are working good and the airbags are going good. So yeah, onwards and upwards, I'll keep going. Okay, it's been a while since I've done any work on the Ambo. Probably about a year actually. So yeah, I'm just catching up with some of the painting, getting the parts together to go back on. Leaf springs over there, and I'll have a look underneath and show you what I've done with the Underseal. Okay, so yeah, done all the I think there's two coats I've put on of body deadener of all of the woodwork because I want to preserve the floor as much as possible. And we've gotten all the way along to the back where the LPG tank's going to go, which is just there. So yeah, Underseal looks good. And then I've just got to move forward and do the other butts at the front, but at the moment I'm just focusing on getting the leaf springs and all the connectors painted up and so on. So that's where I'm at right now.